Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is just me and Tasso today in the studio, and you guys know what that means. Tasso, what does that mean?
Time to rant
It's time
about
for
United.
the second edition of the United Rant.
We talked about doing this for a while, but I think it's good that we waited.
We waited for the transfer window. We
Yeah,
waited for
yeah.
the season to fully kick off. This is right after the international break. Man United have won 3-0 against Southampton. Thank God we won them against them.
Yeah, I mean that should be a no-brainer win right there.
Absolutely. So we're just going to run through a couple things on the agenda. We're going to try to keep it as orderly as possible because I'm sure Tasso and I can run on and on and on about Man United for the next 3 hours.
I think before, you guys want to kind of like follow along like where we're at and like not, give you guys brain hemorrhage.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Danny, sorry, we had to remove your Barcelona stuff.
It's time for the takeover.
For this episode. All right, well, I think let's just kick it off with the transfers first. It's like one of the first things that happened, obviously, in the summer. A lot of outgoings, incomings as well. So we'll just talk about the incomings real quick. Matthijs de Ligt. I'm sorry if I say this wrong. Sekou Kone, young lad.
$1 million.
Yep.
Really great signing from what I've seen.
Nusar Mazraoui. I said that wrong too. Sorry.
Mazraoui. Yeah.
Mazraoui. By the way, spoiler alert, my favorite signing so far. Manuel Ugarte from PSG, Lenny Yoro from Lille, and then Joshua Zirkzee
from Bologna.
Yeah. So my thoughts on the summer, just to kick it off, I think it was excellent. I think the amount we paid for all the players were really good. Lenny Yoro might have been a little bit more expensive, but to beat Real Madrid, I understand. But overall, I'm very happy with it. I thought it was it's a really good sign from the ownership.
Yep.
I think it's a really good start.
It's a strong message, especially with the Ugarte transfer. It's a strong message that we're not gonna just pay whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
Same thing with de Ligt and Mazraoui. We got them on a $70 million package, which I think was a really good deal.
Yeah.
We didn't get played this time like we did with a lot of other transfers. Jadon Sancho.
Maguire. By the way, please go to West Ham. Okay. Anyway.
Facts. Or just back to Leicester when they get relegated this season.
I know, right? Honestly, Adam Lallana is he's on Southampton now, back at his boyhood club.
Yeah. And then like you said, obviously, so I think Lenny Yoro was our second most expensive signing, $62 million. And like you said, to beat Real Madrid, I think that we did have to kind of give it a little bit more.
He's 18 years old. I mean, that's a good investment. Like if it's for a young player, I don't mind it. But if it's like a player in his prime, like if you buy Bruno Fernandes at 70, 80 million pounds, I mean that's what I mean. Like let's say we didn't have him, or like let's say we bought like Cavani or even Ronaldo, right? We spent how much on him? Like
I don't even remember.
It was like 30 million, and then his wages, like things like that. So I think signing young players, paying a reasonable amount, and giving them,
growing them, and like making sure they're here for the long
and
term.
not overpaying them, which is a big problem.
And I think from what I saw in the preseason, I'm very excited when he comes back. He looks like we should definitely play him in like cup matches.
He looked really good.
Get him adjusted. Some lower like bottom half league matches. He looked very good.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
And I'm really happy about Zirkzee because I want there to be competition for Haaland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get some fire going, right? It was between Dwight York and Andy Cole, and eventually, they became a partnership, right?
Exactly. So would you want to see? Sorry for a little sidetrack. Would you want to see them playing together?
I don't know if it would work.
Them playing?
I think they are similar players, but like with Dwight York and Andy Cole, I mean they're both very, very. In my opinion, I thought they were very fast back in that time. I mean, I don't know if it would work because I mean, where are you going to put Bruno Fernandes? You're going to play him in the back, which I mean, he's not really a defensive type of midfielder.
You could even play like a 4-1-2-1-2, maybe.
Yeah.
It just all depends on how obviously Ten Hag wants to utilize his wingers. He loves obviously a good inverted winger.
Yeah.
He's never taking Rashford off, which is something we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they play pretty good together though, because if you think like Joshua's link-up play, Xerxes' link-up play is phenomenal, and then Rashford's runs in behind are incredible.
Yeah.
So I think if you kind of have that link-up play, like if Bruno gets injured, I'm sure Xerxes could play the number 10. That might be a little bit of a weird take, but I think he plays a lot really well. He could play as a 10.
His potential, I mean, his passing from what I've saw and what I've seen on FIFA, it's actually really good. And his potential is there. I personally didn't know him before we signed him, to be honest, but just taking a look at him, and he looks like a solid player who has potential. I think all these players that we signed have potential.
Yeah.
I think DeLitt just was really unlucky with his situation, and I think in the first place, before he went to Juventus, I really wanted him. I was like getting him in career mode, like before he left Ajax. Like I was like,
I mean,
damn.
yeah, but I even spoke about this a couple weeks ago in the last episode. Like, the Bayern fan club, they were signing petitions to keep De Ligt. So clearly they think that they made a mistake. And I mean, he scored a
I'd rather
phenomenal header.
I'd rather have De Ligt than Upamecano.
Oh, exactly.
Upa Maguire. So.
He scored a phenomenal header.
Yeah.
Got his first goal. He has more goals than Jadon Sancho in the Premier League season. Check the stats.
Then Anthony too.
Then Anthony as well.
Which we got to talk about that too. All those signings. Anyway.
So, outgoings. We got a lot of outgoings. Biggest one would probably be McTerminator.
Real quick though, who's your favorite signing?
Ooh, favorite signing? I think
mine's already Mazraoui because I think he's extremely underrated. So far, I think he's played really good, very quickly too. Like how I think he just fits in the team very well. Like immediately, I was surprised on because it usually takes a player like a year, or I would say like to really fit into the Premier League. I think Mazraoui is doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I think he's just severely underrated, and I think he's made a major impact already.
Yeah, and I can't wait for us to have fit left backs as well, so they can start competing because they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
I think my favorite signing as of right now is probably Manuel Ugarte, just based off of what I've seen. I've actually seen him play games. I've actually watched him in a sporting game before he signed to PSG, and I was like, oh, that guy's kind of good.
I watched the Copa America. Yeah, he played decent.
Yep, for Uruguay. But I just think that right now what we're seeing is Casemiro is starting to slow down a little bit. And what's happening is Kobe Mainoo is just getting fully burnt out, and we don't want to do that to a young player like that. We don't want to see him get burned out. So I think Ugarte is going to provide. We saw him in that 20 minutes. He was able to win the ball back quick and just play a simple pass. Whereas Casemiro had a great pre-assist to Garnacho's goal.
Yes.
But what happens is he'll play these risky passes, he'll lose the ball, and he won't run back for it. So Kobe Mainoo is left having to track back, and it's not realistic.
It's not on
for
him
a player
too.
like that.
You can't put it on him. Like he's a young lad. Like I think a lot of players. I mean, not a lot of players. I'm sorry. A lot of people were criticizing him because he wasn't tracking back enough, or he wasn't.
I mean, he's exhausted.
I know. Yeah. Like he can't be the only holding midfielder, and I think.
Right.
Ugarte is going to give that push for us.
Stability for sure.
Yeah,
and another thing as well is people were saying that Mainoo had a really bad game against Southampton. And what people don't understand, again, is that he's a young player. I don't think he had a bad game. He had an average game for what we know him to be. And he obviously can be much better. But again, he's exhausted. He's so tired from playing with Casemiro, unfortunately.
Yeah. And 100%.
So favorite signing for me is definitely going to be Ugarte, just because we are so bare in that position. We needed him really bad.
Absolutely. A lot of outgoings.
Biggest one is McTerminator, I think.
McTominay, yeah.
Very, very controversial from a lot of people.
A lot of people, were not a fan of that one. Scott McSauce. First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Scott McTominay,
because he gave his whole life to the club. Really, I mean, he's there since he was out of his mother's womb, basically.
Yeah.
So very. I mean, I thought overall he was really good coming off the bench. I would have liked to have kept him as like a rotational player.
Yeah.
Like he's always going to be on the bench if we need him. Like, we'll start him in like the Carabao Cup games, like non-important games, or just as a super sub. And I think it's very unfortunate. But I mean, I understand. I mean, we got a pretty decent amount of money for him.
Yep, 30 mil.
And it allowed us to get Ugarte.
Yep, I think that's to your point. It was very clear in all of the press conferences after McTominay was sold to Napoli that Ten Hag wasn't the happiest camper.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that was a way of Ineos showing that he's a good impact player, but he's not good enough for what we want to do in the future, and he's not a future player. Obviously, before he had that really great campaign last season, we were trying to get rid of him to West Ham. So it's very obvious that he was still very much in limbo in terms of like transfers. He wasn't a player that we wanted to keep. He was just a player to throw on, play some chaos ball, maybe score a goal or two, and just get it done with.
I'm surprised he didn't stay in the Prem. I thought he'd go to a team, honestly, like Newcastle or Brighton. like something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
a Villa, not
So
Villa probably.
that's
but
another thing that I have with that is you're seeing these players like Eddie Nketiah, ESR, um, and just like a bunch of other like Aaron Wan-Bissaka just moving in between the Premier League. I I think there's something that we don't know about Premier League clubs that was so hard to get rid of McTominay because people were so like concerned about paying 30 mil for McTominay, except they paid like what 30 mil for Nketiah, 25 mil for Emil Smith Rowe, and they were so hesitant to pay 30 mil. So that's what I think we might have gotten away with something there. Like if other lower league or lower table Premier League players didn't want him, then like why are we struggling to get rid of him? So that's just my
I
opinion on
mean,
that.
Napoli needed a player like that. I think Antonio Conte is a smart manager.
Yeah.
And he sees quality when there is.
Well, he just plays chaos ball. That's why he wants a chaos baller.
Yeah. So would you say that's like your least favorite signing or your favorite? Or I'm sorry, your favorite
Outgoing?
Outgoing, yeah.
I think my favorite outgoing is Sancho.
I think we could both agree on that. Or Anthony Martial, like I mean, there's
a lot, yeah. So there's a ton. I'm just gonna run down the list, and I want you to grade them from S tier to F tier, like good or bad outgoings, and I'm gonna do the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So should I just do G or B?
Huh?
G or B for good or bad? Or wait, S tier and what?
So like S, A, B, C, D, or actually we'll just do A, B, or C. Sign it like outgoings.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So Scott McTominay, A, B, or C, outgoing.
I have to give it a C. I don't know. Or actually, I'll say a B because it's like we would like to keep him, but at the same time we couldn't keep him. We needed the money for Ugarte, so I put a B for that one.
I think.
Sorry about that, guys. On the Pitch TV needs a unpaid intern.
Yeah, fully unpaid.
Fully unpaid.
No meal time, nothing. Literally, all you're gonna do is just sit in this chair and watch our cameras.
You get to hang here and get free mentorship.
And you get free behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Okay, so back
McTominay,
to
I said was B because in the middle it was like at the same time we'd like to keep him, but we couldn't keep him because we needed Ugarte. So
like I said, I'm gonna rate that an A signing. I think that's pretty much the max that we could have gotten for him because he's in like his.
Oh, is that where we're rating it? Just on the money you've got?
No, just all in general. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So I'm gonna rate it an A just to outgo. I didn't want McTominay to stay. I think it's much like Rashford's season a couple of years ago. This was very much an irregularity. I think hopefully I'm proven right, and I don't think we're gonna be seeing much of him. In goal scoring form. Obviously, he scored for Scotland against Portugal on Bruno Fernandes' birthday. Funny enough. But yeah, so I'm going to give that one an A. Second biggest signing, Mason Greenwood to Marseille for 26 mil.
It's an A because, I mean, unfortunately, it just wasn't going to work. It seemed like with Ineos made a pretty clear decision. Listen, everyone makes, mistakes in life, and if they get a second chance, I think they just need to take advantage of it no matter what they did do. He has a second chance now in Marseille, and he's taking advantage of it. And I think he just needs to move forward and just be a better individual,
better
and learn,
person, better player,
and just learn from that mistake. And he just needs to be thankful that he has another opportunity. But for the money we got for him too is awesome. Yeah. I think because he did good,
pure profit.
I think because he did good on loan. I think that's why we also got that fee.
Yep, and he scored a brace his first game in Marseille, so he seems to be adjusting pretty well over there.
Because if you think about it, they control the price, really, what they paid. Because, listen, you have a player that's, outside the pitch. There's some serious issues.
Off the pitch.
Off the pitch. Anyway, so I'm going to give that a day.
Okay. Next one, AWB to West Ham for 17.6 package.
Man, I was sad to be honest.
These prices are in euros, by the way. They're not in pounds or USD. They're in euros.
Moment of silence for AWB. Best one-on-one fullback in the world defensively. I just think, a lot of people were complaining about his passing ability, like crossing into the box, things like that. But
marking his near post when defending. If
he was 6'3", he would play center back. He'd be the best center back in the world, maybe. Because I know fullback and center back are a little bit different.
Fullback is a lot more one-on-one. Center back is you're probably dealing with more than one defender at a time or attacker at a time.
I don't know. I kind of get why we got rid of him, but at the same time, on a personal level, I was really upset. I really liked him. I would personally have rather gotten rid of Luke Shaw.
Interesting.
Because Luke Shaw he's injury prone. Same thing with Malacia. I mean, why are we keeping?
He might be coming
players?
back apparently, so we'll see how Malacia does.
Yeah, it feels like Luke Shaw is only fit for England.
Little controversy there.
Collecting a paycheck.
Somebody clip that.
Clip. Okay, A through. Man, I give it. I personally, I just gotta give it a B because it's just a biased like love for him.
I mean, I'll give it a B too. I think we needed the money. It was a quick way to get money. Obviously, 17.6 million euros, not bad at all. To West Ham, a lower club. I think he's gonna be okay there. From what I've seen, he hasn't been playing well at all actually with West Ham.
I think it's the system.
I think it's the system, and I think it's that he doesn't have as good of players behind him. But I think we needed the money, but we could have also used the depth. I'm glad that we brought in Mazraoui for actually less. So we made
combined Delit and Mazraoui.
Yeah, so it was 15 million for Mazraoui, 17 million outgoing for Wan-Bissaka. I think Mazraoui is better to fit what Ten Hag wants, our attacking system, and he's a great defender. He made a really good last-ditch tackle on his first game of the season against Fulham. So, like I said, B because we could have used the depth, but overall, I think it was a good outgoing. Willy Kambwala to Villarreal, 10 mil. What do you think?
I think I'm surprised. I didn't expect that to happen.
Me neither.
I mean, I guess I give it an A just because it seems like he wanted to start and play games. He didn't want to go on loan. That's my only explanation.
So an A for his mentality.
I just truly don't understand. I truly don't know the true story behind it. Truly don't know the true story. Anyway.
In truth.
In truth. But I mean, we got what, 10 million for him?
Yeah. Young player, under 21.
I mean, he hasn't necessarily proven that he's a
sell-on clause as well.
Yeah. Well, do we have a buyback or no?
I don't know about the buyback.
So, if we do have a buyback, I'm fine with it. I don't think we do, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it just is what it is. Like, it's an A for me because it's just we got money.
Yep.
He probably just didn't want to go on loan. He knew he wasn't going to get in the team, and he had to make a decision for his future. So I respect him.
I agree. That. A for me as well. I know we're going to disagree on this one, but Hannibal to Burnley for 6.4 million.
Listen, I liked Hannibal, bro. I think he was so mistreated. Not on a personal level, like not as like a, between manager and player, but like I feel like he just, dude, like that goal against what was that goal that he got? Just shot it from outside.
Yeah.
I watched that game. Believe me, I was cursing at my TV. And my dad, we were going at it on the TV. But I mean, he hit that strike. I'm like, damn, like, you know what? I like that because we need players with confidence like that can make a decision for themselves and not just rely on tactics and planning. You need a player with guts and confidence to take a shot from that far. Then again, of course, it's just one goal. Doesn't define a player's career.
It's also, it's a 1 in a million chance. If he shot it and went to Rose as my friends overseas say, then
Casemiro does it all the time.
Reaction.
You know what I'm saying? Like he kicks it in Rose, whatever, right? Bruno shanked it against Southampton. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? But
Bruno had a bad game yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, that effortless cross into the box to live.
That was sick.
He just.
Let me rephrase myself. Bruno didn't have a bad game. He had an average game. I know he's better.
Yeah.
So what do you think for Mr. Hannibal?
I don't see why we got rid of him. Like, I see it, but I don't see it. Like, it's like I said, it's just a biased standpoint. It's not necessarily the right opinion. I give it a B, I guess.
I think he's a very raw talent, is what he has the guts to do. Like you said, he's a very raw talent. I just think in terms of plays competition, he plays cam / left winger, I guess. Obviously, in left wing, you got Rashford, Garnasty, and then you have Mason Mount, who can also play left wing, depending. In terms of cam, you have Eriksen, Bruno, what's his face? Who did I just say? Mason Mount. You have a lot of competition. I just don't think he was going to get the minutes that he wanted because obviously he's older now. So I think it was an A signing for me. And I didn't like the way his body language was on the bench, the way he like acted on the bench and like warming up and stuff. I just don't think he really belonged at the club. So that's an A for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. This next one pisses me off. Facundo Pellistri.
Dude,
6 million
I feel
euros.
for the player, man. Like, listen, was he 22, 23? I mean, listen, I think he deserved to start over Anthony. At the time, over Ahmad, because Ahmad didn't really kick into gear until the end of the last season. But I really feel for him. I think he deserved a chance to start. He always plays for Uruguay. You know, it's
Yep.
like, I mean, I think he deserved a chance. I think it's really poor management by Ten Hag by him just continuously playing Anthony over him and then playing because he can't bench Rashford. He plays Garnacho on the right side. I'm very disappointed. I give it a C.
I also give that a C. Purely, I have personal connections to Pellistri. I've loved watching him like grow into the player that he is. I think he's the player that, much like Ahmad, can shoot when he wants, but he also knows when to
He goes
put a
into
really good
attack,
cross in the
man. He
box.
doesn't like, you know what I mean? He just goes in, bro.
Yeah,
He goes,
and
like,
he's also the only right-footed right winger that we have, and that's something dynamic that we can use. I think if it were up to me, we should have gotten rid of Antony, and we should have kept
100%.
Ahmad and Pellistri because they're both young. They're both competing for their spot, but obviously Antony's not going anywhere until Ten Hag squeeze every last life out of him.
I agree.
I'm glad that he's just not starting over Ahmad, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean Ahmad. Yeah, at least Ten Hag has recognized Ahmad had a great preseason. By the way, probably player of the preseason. Is that said? Did I say that right? Is that
Player of
good
the
vocabulary?
POTPS.
Yes, I think he had a phenomenal preseason. He really showed he could definitely have a starting role. And I think he just needs to grow and just get better and continuously grow confidence.
Yeah, I agree.
So
He can only get better, I think.
I think 100%. He has the talent to do it. It's really up to him now. And then the coaching under the coaching staff in Ten Hag to get him there. Sorry. So yeah,
Okay.
C. That's a C for Pellistri.
Okay. And then some other outgoings. I don't really care about ranking these. I'm just gonna say them.
Yeah.
Carreras, he's a younger player. Went to a Spanish club for $6 million.
Okay, not applicable for me because I don't know much about him.
Donny Van de Beek, $500K.
Very unfortunate. I feel bad for him.
The fall off is insane.
No, I feel so bad for him. You know, I think it's terrible, man. You go to a club, club like Manchester United, you expect to, like it's a big club still, right? It's a huge brand, and it's just
he's very similar to the Eden Hazard situation at Chelsea. You've heard by numerous people, coaches, teammates. He never really took care of himself, ate like shit, didn't exercise. So when he went to Real Madrid and he was demanded more of, and when his age started catching up, he started picking up injuries. I think that's the same thing for Van de Beek. I don't think he maybe took care of himself how he should have. He kept getting injuries. He wasn't reliable. And
I'm just surprised because, I
drug
mean,
his
he
transfer
had a
market down.
prior relationship with Ten Hag like every other player on the team now. Which that's another thing I want to get into. But yeah, I was a little surprised. But I mean, I get it, man. Like I think it's just an unfortunate situation for the player and the team.
Right.
We paid a lot of money for him, like a lot of money. And
like too much money.
60 million.
Shout out Glazers.
Yeah, and I think it's just unfortunate. It's an A+ though.
Yep.
For his release.
Yep, A++ for me.
Permanent transfer.
Just hopefully he does well over there. Wish him all the best.
Yeah, no, I hope he revives his career for sure.
All right, so the next couple are just all frees. Amari Forson.
Surprise.
On a free.
So
I am
very
shocked
surprised.
that he left.
I was like, what?
But we got Cheeto Obi Martin.
Yeah, hey, I'll take that. Arsenal.
He was literally bagging hat tricks for fun.
10 goals. Was it against Liverpool?
Yep.
Liverpool.
So hopefully he'll be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another incoming. But he's an academy player as of right now. Sekou Kone is actually meant to be a squad player. So he was listed in the Premier League squad. So yeah, I was shocked about that. I think, just a B. I'm indifferent.
Give the same.
Varane outgoing.
A++. Too many injuries, high wage, done.
We're saving $17.5 million annually.
Not worth
getting
it.
rid of him.
Not worth keeping him.
Great player, great servant to the club when he was fit, but
2 trophies.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
So I think that's an A+ for me. Anthony Martial, A++.
Yeah. I don't know what. I mean, injuries happened, right? And I don't know, bro. Lost confidence. Like
the only time Martial bags is when he has the black gloves on.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I think under Ole he did pretty decent, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and I was really hoping. I mean, damn that Ballon d'Or clause, I'm just saying. But no, A++.
So yeah,
where I was at.
$250K a week as well. Another big,
unbelievable. Ugh.
Brandon Williams.
A+ because it's just
quadruple plus.
It's just,
I don't like Brandon Williams.
It is what it is.
Too cocky for the club. Didn't really respect anything going on at the club.
Justin Bieber haircut.
He has a massive wage for his how much he's playing. He made $85K a week off of us. Ridiculous.
by playing FIFA. Like we probably played FIFA with Sancho while Sancho was
Probably,
suspended.
yeah. So, and that's the last one. Jaden Sancho outgoing
That's
20
probably the
mil.
outgoing of the summer. Just get him out. I'm surprised. Like, bro, okay, like they agree to disagree. Listen, he wants to play football. He wants to play, be a contender for the team. He could have been really good for the team. By the way, man, we had Pogba, Ronaldo, and Sancho in one picture, and that didn't work out.
And Bruno Fernandes.
I mean, come on, bro. Like that's why I get pissed off. Like, dude,
It was a team full of individuals, bro.
oh man, I can't even. I cannot speak.
What I like,
I'm in big trouble.
What I like now, rather than in Ollie's era, and Jose as well, you can argue, is we have an actual like team. We don't have these massive.
This is the
names.
worst United team we've ever seen.
This United
most
team?
Dysfunctional. That since, I mean, I would say after Ten Hag's first year.
I think if everybody is fit in the current squad that we have, we can win a lot of trophies.
Yeah,
which might be a different opinion, but
I'll get it. We'll get into that after we get off the subject of transfers. But I think that's it, right?
Yeah. So more details on Sancho's transfer: 20 million loan. We looked it up. They're covering a majority of his wages, which is obviously a huge bonus for us.
Over 50%. I would say between 60 and 80%, probably.
And then 5 million based off of performance add-ons for the obligation to buy clause, whatever that.
I don't
means.
know. Probably like if he gets a certain amount of goals, assists, or if they get a certain place in the Prem. Yep. Probably like in that range.
So, and then I did some math. The ingoing, that's a triple, quadruple. That's an S tier for me.
That's the top of the list. Of
I wish he didn't go to Chelsea because obviously I'm sure he's going to do well at Chelsea. And everybody's going to be like, oh, look, you let him go to a bigger club, a rival club.
There's too many players, though. The Chelsea have their own problems.
Yeah, for real.
Would you rather be Chelsea or United?
Huh?
Would you rather be Chelsea or United?
United? What the hell?
Well, I'm just saying, like, situation-wise, sorry.
Oh, I'd rather be United.
Yeah, agreed.
Because we're slowly getting out of our Glazer era. They're just getting into their Bully era.
For real. Oof.
So,
man, American ownership.
Commiserations to you guys. But I did some math, like I said. Ingoings, we spent combined without any sort of like add-ons or any sort of like clauses, 214.5 mil euros, again, euros. And then outgoings with all of the wages that we're saving from our free transfers is around 160 million euros.
That's one of the highest outgoing periods we've ever had.
Yep.
Since was it post Fergie, or was it? Because I know obviously Ronaldo cost a bit like a nice coin during Fergie's era when we sold him to Madrid. But I think that's one of the best outgoing periods.
It's one of the best outgoing periods we've had in a long time.
Yeah, money wise, yeah. So.
And we're respecting financial fair play laws. Isn't that crazy?
Listen, honestly, I was surprised the amount of incomings we had because I was worried about FFP. I'm like,
well, it's because our revenue is insane.
I know, yeah. And now it's 50% of revenue can only be accounted for FFP now.
Yeah, and we're still doing better. So 115 charges. I'll see you Monday. Moving on to our next topic.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, just to like kind of say something on that. I'm not gonna go too deep. I'm just gonna say, regardless, like. I just don't think City are going to get any disciplinary action.
Probably not.
I just think it's just going to be a very drawn out process, and they'll be hit with a small fine, and that'll be it.
Yep. Or maybe like 12 points taken off or some shit. And they won't win the league this year. Oh no.
Yeah. I think we can just briefly touch on Ronaldo versus Ten Hag.
That's
very recent. Yeah. So I'll just kind of list out the quotes. By the way, Cristiano Ronaldo. Fastest growing YouTuber ever in
1
existence.
billion followers as well.
Mr. B spent his whole life on that, and Ronaldo spent an hour, 2 hours.
Well, it's because he already has a global presence. So.
Yeah, but that's just crazy, dude. Anyway, so Cristiano said, Man United coach cannot say, this is quote unquote, sorry, cannot say they can't compete to win the Premier League and Champions League every year. This is Man United. You have to be there to mentally say, listen, maybe we don't have that potential, but I cannot say that. So to the press, cannot say to the press, we are not good enough to win. You have to say that to the press to boost confidence to the players and just to have that mentality. I agree. Returning to the quote, we're going to try. Yeah, you have to try. This is why Man United need to rebuild. If Ten Hag listens to Ruud van Nistelrooy, maybe he can help. By the way, if you watch that video, which I have watched that clip, it was with Rio Ferdinand. It was a pretty funny, like, he's going to listen to Ruud. Anyway, maybe he can help.
Touching on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So Rio Ferdinand was sitting with Cristiano dogging on Ten Hag. A little bit later, he's seen with Ten Hag talking about the team. I don't like this double mask that Rio's putting on. I think he's digging himself a hole in terms of
Yeah,
punditry.
I think yeah.
I just think I'm not. I love Rio Ferdinand as a player. I'm not a fan of what he's doing off the pitch. He's just
Off the pitch.
he's causing a lot of turmoil that just doesn't need to happen. Because obviously those questions in the press conference would not have come if he didn't say something. If he didn't go and meet up with Ronaldo, he should have just kept it talking about other stuff. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
and then speaking of Rio, like Ronaldo finished the quote as this is really important. You should listen to the guys who were there, like Rio, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Alex Ferguson. You need advice from these people. You cannot rebuild a club without knowledge. End quote. Yeah, I agree to what Andrew was saying. I think just Rio needs to be careful, just on his own personal level, on his own relationship with the club. I think just needs to be just mindful of the words. Like
Yeah.
you can have an opinion, I think, to yourself. I think it's super important to keep certain things to yourself in general. Especially if you have a serious relationship with the club that you once played for,
Right.
and you're a legend, right?
I mean, it's also the same thing with some of the other players,
Yeah.
like Roy Keane. Obviously, he has a lot of his say
Yeah.
publicized Sky Sports, and I think he's very overly harsh on the club that he grew up with. He should be more supportive,
Just his personality.
right? But I
It's
mean,
crazy.
I just think there's some things you shouldn't really talk trash about.
Yeah.
And, that's just my opinion. Because obviously, people who are big fans of Roy Keane saying get the manager out, it's just going to cause so many issues. It's just I think it's just not worth it to divide the club. I think we need to just kind of
Yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, and then kind of going to what else Ronaldo was saying. So this is starting quote: Man United really have to rebuild everything. It's very clear. United need time to rebuild because it's still one of the best clubs in the world. They need to change. They understand that. It's the only way to be back. This is why they start to change again. The structure of the club, the president, infrastructures. The owners of the club are investing in the trading ground, so I'm happy because things are changing.
Yep.
Which, yeah, I mean,
Massive.
spot on, right? Ten Hag responded. However, so yeah, so like he was like, oh, he said that, like referring to Ronaldo saying that, sorry, Ronaldo was speaking on Ten Hag saying that United cannot win the Premier League, which he did say that in a press conference. I think that's vividly clear. He said that before the first game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And then Ten Hag was saying, oh, like Ronaldo said that? I mean, said that Manchester United can't win the Premier League? Like that I said that? I mean, he's the one who said it, not me. Ten Hag, if you read the article very well, he is far away in Saudi, far away from Manchester, so everyone can have an opinion and is entitled to have an opinion. But if you watch the press conference, he was obviously disgusted with Ronaldo's statement and very offended. It seems like.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's his project, it's his build. I would be pretty like if I built like a bed and I put like hundreds of hours into this like bed frame. I don't know why I'm thinking about a bed, maybe because I'm tired.
It's okay. Me
But
too.
I put hundreds of hours into this bed frame, and like my dad walks in there and goes like, "This is shit. You need to rebuild all of this." Like, obviously I'd be a little bit of offended. I think I watched the press conference as well. I think Ten Hag handled it as well as he could. Obviously, the press is always going to be like on fire with him, so I think he's handling his press conferences pretty well. Based off the whole Ronaldo Ten Hag situation, I'm really happy that we won against Southampton because now, journalists and news articles don't really have much to rail Ten Hag with. Because we got a good result against a lower level team. We just need to pick up the momentum. But hopefully all of this Ronaldo, Ten Hag, pardon my French, bull will kind of just carry over and dissolve. I don't want to see it anymore, personally.
Yeah, and honestly, like my stance on that whole situation shouldn't have gone to Piers Morgan and done that
Not at
interview.
all.
However, I'm not saying I disagree with him necessarily. I mean, they're not able to score. And I mean, he's got 60 plus goals in Saudi. Doesn't matter if it's Saudi. I mean, in my opinion, it's better. It's more competitive than the MLS just because the amount of crazy players that have gone to all the other teams. No offense to Major League Soccer, but I just think, I mean, dude, he's one of the best, if not the best, strikers, goal scorers in the world still. I'd say top 25 at least. I mean, I guarantee he's 39 years old, 40 years old. But I just think, I think he was a needed player at the time. And when he left, who'd we have? Wout Weghorst.
Wout Weghorst and
Anthony Martial.
broken Anthony Martial.
I mean,
maybe
it's like
Rashford.
So,
But Rashford stepped up, which is good.
yeah. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. I wish, believe me, I wish Ronaldo stayed. I wish the Pogba situation was different. I wish the Sancho situation was different. But honestly, it is what it is. You move forward.
Yep.
And hopefully Ten Hag can just grow this team and play good football, man. I'm tired of seeing us. I'm pissed. It was a good 3-0 win. I'll give it that. But there's times like in the build-up play, like we can't score. We got to score goals, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
It should have been.
ridiculous.
We should have had a
Should
lot
have
more against
5-0, bro.
Southampton, yeah.
It should have been a 5-0 performance.
And even in the reverse, I'll talk about it. Losing 3-0 against Liverpool. Obviously, the errors that we
Disgraceful.
had, it was individual. It was Casemiro's 2 errors, and then obviously, unfortunately, Mainu had that error. I'm happy people didn't dog on Mainu, by the way, yeah, because the fan base is relentless.
And I agree with you.
But we could have
Andrew.
lost inverse. We could have lost that game like 7-0, 8-0, 9-0. Like it could have been really bad.
Yeah.
So there's just so much, I think, individually and cohesively that we need to work on, and hopefully Ten Hag, along with his assistants, will kind of work on that. We got a great set piece coach, I've heard. We're working on the physio department apparently. So
Seriously, that needs to be worked on because Luke Shaw is literally dead.
Luke
And
Shaw,
Malacia is
Malacia.
in Timbuktu. So, yeah, and I think we can move on from Ronaldo versus Ten Hag. Unfortunate situation is what it is. We move forward.
Yep.
Hopefully things change.
Just get it over with.
Relating to real quick the Southampton performance, I think we can step into the overall. We'll just talk about now the performances of United so far on the season. Was it 3 games now?
Yep.
So
no, 4.
4 games.
Yeah, it was a win against Fulham, loss, win.
Right. Okay. Southampton, happy with the win. However, Andrew, I'm sorry, with Liverpool, I agree, but also disagree. I think, it just shows how much far we are from the teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, and City. We can't score, dude. We can't create chances. We can't even put a dent in there.
I mean, we lost the midfield battle against.
I know.
Putting Toby Collier on at halftime shows the desperation.
But at the same time, man, I mean, we gotta this game plan, these tactics that I personally do not understand. It obviously it did not work against Liverpool, and it's not gonna if they do the same thing like that against City and Arsenal and even Tottenham. Like, I mean, dude, we're we're a long road ahead. So, granted, yes, I agree. Casemiro made some mistakes. Players make mistakes, but at the same time, the manager needs to take responsibility. They could not score in that game.
I'm just happy that Casemiro didn't play. He didn't start in the game yesterday against Southampton because it showed Ten Hag was willing to kind of drop him based off of a bad performance. Obviously, he should have dropped Rashford, but luckily Rashford scored. It was a great goal. But I think he should have, and very rightly so, dropped him. I don't think anybody was expecting Eriksen to start. Were you expecting that at all?
No.
I wasn't expecting that at all. And that was Eriksen's kind of game because obviously Southampton's a lesser league. They're going to play a low block. He has more time on the ball. And I think that kind of gave everybody maybe a bit of a break before Tuesday's game.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see some younger players obviously play because I think it's Carabao Cup, correct?
Yep.
So hopefully we'll see some younger players, maybe Ugarte to start.
Yeah. About Southampton, I'll tell you this: the first 30 minutes, we should have been. I mean, that was one of the worst penalties I've ever seen taken. But you know what?
Shout out Cameron Archer.
No, but you know what? Credit to Onana. He went the right direction. He saved the ball. That's what matters.
And that was actually one of the penalties where he wasn't doing all of this shit, pointing. Like he just needs to just be calm with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. By the way, De Ligt has picked up a knock as well as Martinez. I'm seeing right here.
De Ligt actually said that it wasn't a knock. He just said that he got a cramp because he hadn't played in a long time.
That is true. He just had some trouble there, and I could see also Lisandro Martinez kind of looked a little shaken as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're both going to get rested this Tuesday.
I'm
sure it'll probably be
Honestly,
Maguire and Casemiro or something.
Play the young, it's like with Southampton, we should have just played some of the other guys. Like
I want to see Harry Amos.
Yeah, rotate the squad, man. Like he's playing almost like last year.
This Southampton game was a must-win game.
Oh, I know, but
he had to win that game.
Like he should have benched Rashford.
Garnasty scored.
Yeah,
my Donnie.
Start Garnacho over Rashford easily. I wouldn't have played Eriksen. I mean, I don't know. You might as well play Ugarte, but I get it. He had 2 sessions.
Yeah, I mean, but all in all,
great.
Good result.
3-0 win.
Goal differential is back to 0, so we're back on square one.
Yeah, we need to get that goal differential up. Seriously.
Up. And not because we're not conceding, but because we're scoring.
Yeah. So, listen, good performance there. In general, I guess the start to the league, I'm still disappointed. I know, like even after that Southampton win, I think right now, in my opinion, I still think we have a fully fit squad, even without Hoyland, without Euro, Luke
That's
Shaw.
crazy. So you think we have a fully fit
I don't
squad
think,
without our main striker, without our starting
but no,
left
but
back?
like we got Xerxes because I think, in my opinion, I think Xerxes and Hoyland are on a similar kind of level. Just like I guess
I think Hoyland has the edge on him.
I just think, in my opinion, I don't think Hoyland is like, it's like, oh, like he's that much better where it's like, okay, without him we're nothing. I guess he can have that little bit of edge, but I think Xerxes is good enough to start, and I think there's gonna be some good competition there, which I already said earlier. But I mean, who else is injured? Mason Mount, what a joke.
Oh, Harry Amos is injured.
Harry Amos is injured. I'm sorry, Luke Shaw, Malacia, Euro, but still, like,
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
wait. It says England. It says England, not injured.
yeah,
That's my bad.
no, but regardless, I just I think, in my opinion, Ten Hag needs to have a better. It's obvious this game
So-
plan is not working, and that's why I'm disappointed, because he has overall a decent team. He has a solid defense in the back, and overall a solid midfield now with Ugarte. He has a solid front four with Bruno, Ahmad. I'll even say Rashford or Garnacho and Xerxes. I think it's good enough. That's a good enough starting team to have a decent game, and it's just the game plan's not working from Ten Hag's.
We had a
from Ten Hag's
decent
end.
game right there.
I'm just
bro.
saying though,
3-0
even
against
against Fulham, very poor. Brighton, very poor. Liverpool, I mean, God, you know what I'm saying? The game plan's not working, and Ten Hag's going to be under the microscope always, right?
Americans.
But am I not wrong though?
So
Like,
what?
I don't like this. The tactics aren't working. The game plan's not working.
So I want to ask you this, and then we'll probably have to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
What for you in terms of, and I don't want this to be a super long, elaborate. I just want numbers. I want titles. What in terms for you would qualitate as a good season for Ten Hag and Man United? We're in Europa League. We're in Carabao. We're on all the competitions. What would qualify you to have Ten Hag as a good season? To keep Ten Hag.
European football. Absolute minimum European football.
Are we saying European or are we saying Champions League?
I would say Europa League. I would say above Conference League. I would say we should win the Europa League. I mean, did you see all the matches we have? I mean, come on, guys. Like, let's be honest. We're way better teams than all the teams we're about to be facing. I think we should win the Europa League, but should is on paper we should win. Top 6 in the Prem, that's a must need for me. And then, I mean, the EFL Cup and FA Cup, it's really, they either perform or not. But we could get there again. We could get to the final again. But that's what I would qualify as a decent season. And I would say, just injuries. We gotta. I hope the physio department is fixed. I think that is another area that's away from Ten Hag. But yeah, I think we just need to be healthy. So,
Okay. I think if we have a good team, Luke Shaw fit, Rasmus fit,
Euro.
Lenny Euro fit. I think for me, I need top 4. We need Champions League football. I don't want to see us in the Europa League again. I don't want to watch games on Thursdays anymore.
Do you think if Ten Hag gets? Do you think Ten Hag gets sacked if they don't make Champions League?
I honestly think so. Yeah. I think top 4. We should be competing in the Europa League, either semifinals or winning.
I think winning.
I think in terms of FA and EFL Cup, we need to be very far in or get to the finals. I think we need to be competing for these trophies because obviously, like especially like the Carabao Cup, I'm sure none of the other big 6 teams are really going to be competing for it except for maybe like Tottenham because they suck and they desperately need a trophy, and Chelsea. So I think that we need to be starting a good enough squad, but we obviously need game management, time management.
Yeah.
And that's where like Lenny Euro comes in play. Hey, play Bayendier as well. Jesus. That guy's probably has a permanent ass print on the bench.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, listen, I don't want to get into it with Onana, but listen, he has amazing saves, but he lets in the most bullshit goals ever.
He's a very middle of the line goalkeeper when it comes to saves. The reason why we bought him is so we can play out the
play
back,
make,
and it's just not happening. So hopefully we can see that as our players become fit and everybody gets used to the system and Casemiro gets dropped to the bench so Ugarte can play.
Mm-hmm. But I was gonna say, speaking of Europa League, real quick, the teams that are really gonna be competitive for us: Tottenham, Lyon, Roma, Real Sociedad. I guess Nice, if you really want to put it in there.
I mean, and whoever drops to the Europa League from Champions League as well.
Yeah, which I mean, there's
good teams in the Europa League. I think it's gonna be competitive for us. We just really need to make sure to keep our head in the game, and hopefully we won't start Maguire to concede a 2-0 lead.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out Maguire and Malacia for that one.
Yeah. Oh, and Galatasaray, because you know what, we lost Galatasaray, so you know what, they could, But
shout out
however,
Victor Osimhen as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our competition for Europa League. Like I guess the better teams.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's a good season for me though.
Yeah. So Champions League qualification, semifinal, or winning Europa League. What about like Carabao Cup and
just get far enough, like quarters, maybe finals, just depending on how our squad is and everything.
Right.
But I'd rather prioritize those big two for me.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I personally don't think we even have the depth to make it that. I mean, those are a lot. Dude, that's a lot. That's a lot of games. That's 62 games, 60 plus games.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another concern. But anyway, I guess.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So
thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Please, it literally takes one click of a button. If you could just hit the like, it helps us get through the algorithm. We're really trying to push out what we have here. Obviously, we're growing. Thank you guys for 400 followers on Instagram. That's huge.
417, brother.
400 plus followers on Instagram. Hopefully, we'll have more before this gets posted.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, Tasso, it's been great. United Rant Part 2. Let us know if you want us to make another one of these maybe halfway through the season, after Christmas or, something like that. We're always down to talk about United, I think.
Of course.
Kick Danny out for a little bit. And,
I think, should we do another United Rant maybe after the January transfer window?
Yeah, just see good outgoings. Yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, drop a comment if you want us to see, if you want to see that. If you want Danny to have a Barcelona rant, let us know. We can talk about Barca with him. But yeah.
All Danny's gonna say is Real Madrid's finished. Anyway. Yeah, like, subscribe. Peace out, guys.
Take care, guys.